I would love any comments on how you would optimize the way these are laid out. Should I shuffle some of these colors around? Would you shuffle them around? At the end of the day, like, I just want it to be easy to fetch my colors and color with them, well, paint with them. And obviously that's going to be the next challenge. Like, I'm going to need to use it and see how I feel using it. But yeah, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on this selection. But yeah, the goal was to just put everything together in one place now that I can really see all the colors I have and use them as best I can. All right, I admit I am still purchasing art supplies, and this is not the first or last thing I've purchased recently. This is a new watercolor palette that I am planning to consolidate 2 of my watercolor palettes into. And I say this because I've got too many watercolor palettes and I'm not painting enough. And I just think if I have my colors all together in one spot, I'm going to want to reach for them a little bit more often than the way they are currently set up. So we're going to give this a try. This watercolor box only cost me about $15 Canadian, and it is cheap. Okay, first off, I'm looking at it and it does not look squeaky clean. There's a little spot here, but it's okay. It's going to get used. So here's the inside. There we go. Now let's just do a quick comparison to my old one. So in terms of my old one, so they look almost the same size. This is my old one, this is my new one. There's more spacing here, I can see. So this is the new one. This is my old one. So definitely I can see right away there is more space between these two and this one. And I wanted that so that I would be able to stick more pens here. So I'll be able to have a whole other row of paint colors. You cannot do that in this current palette. Hey, so just to show you here, this is the panel I was talking about that I ended up removing. So now my art palette is just a box with a lid. The little wire here that holds this into place is pretty much very loose. It just slides out. It does not have little ends to keep it in place. So I don't know if that happens to any of your palettes, but I decided to just take it off. I could always put it back if I wanted to, but I decided to take it off for now. No need to use this because this is kind of dangerous to have poking out. That's okay. But that's what I meant when I was saying that this is pretty cheap. You get what you pay for, right? Yeah. And again, this is the make of this palette, FClub Watercolor Art Supply, empty watercolor palette. So it came with absolutely no pans. It's just the case, just the watercolor palette, empty with no pans whatsoever. Okay, so we're gonna swatch out my new palette with all of my colors combined together. I've already created the swatch card here. So I'll just share with you the colors that I have, starting with Chinese white. And I apologize for the shaking. And the next color, lemon yellow. This is a lemon yellow from Holbein Watercolors. Next, we have Azo Yellow Light. This is a Van Gogh yellow, and it's very nice and vibrant. And I actually have it twice, and that's what I intentionally wanted to do, is combine all of my watercolors together into one palette so that I can actually use up these paints and not be shy to dip into the colors as I see them. And I think sometimes we need to focus less on color names and just focus on the color itself, if it's the right color you want to use. Nope, my cat decided to come, and he is not to drink this water. It's not for drinking. No, it's not. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to stop here now for a moment. All right, let's continue. This is a yellow ochre from Holbein. Should have moved these two over next to each other. Wow. Honestly, there's barely a difference between these. I don't know. I don't know how I missed that, but I did. And then burnt umber. This is also a Holbein watercolor. Now moving over to the reds. This is a permanent deep red by Van Gogh. Very nice red. A little bit on the cooler side, I would say. And then we have Madder Lake Light Van Gogh. And then we have light red. That's very opaque. I can barely see my name here. Let's maybe lift some of this. And I have it here twice, so let's actually just bring it over twice here. And then here's another Quinn Gold. Not sure which brand this is. Could be a Van Gogh. Then a burnt sienna from Daniel Smith. Equally another burnt sienna. Oops, I'm bleeding into my other colors here. I think I'll let this dry. Let this dry a bit. I'm going to change the water since we're going into the greens. This is a phthalo green by Van Gogh. Let's do some more of the greens down below. This is a Viridian green. by Van Gogh. This is an olive green. Olive green by Van Gogh. This is a leaf green. Yeah, I really let this one here bleed again. Let's just fix the olive green. It's a permanent yellow green. Oops. The Hooker Green by Van Gogh. And then we have Sap Green. Nope, nope. And my cat's back. I think he's thirsty. I'm gonna go check his water bowl. No, no, no. Okay, let's stop this here for a minute. All right, sorry for the interruption. My cat came around. All right, let's go back to the black, ivory black here. If you ask me why my black is popped in the middle of my green, I don't know. I think I thought about it being a good little black to help tint some of these greens because they're not very natural looking, and I really don't know what my logic was. I just put it there. Cadmium Red Deep by Holbein Watercolors. And then Pyrrole Scarlet by Daniel Smith. Permanent Red Deep by Van Gogh. Quinn Rose by Van Gogh. Quinn Rose by Daniel Smith. Oh, definitely different shades there. Some lavender. And then a turquoise blue by Holbein, and I actually have two of them, so I'm just gonna go straight down because it is both the same color. All right, now we're gonna do permanent blue violet. Oh, and it's actually the same color here, so well, that's way too wet. And then we have manganese blue. Oh no, wrong color. Maybe not. I contaminated a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. No. Sorry, my cat's trying to get to my container again. So Van Dyke Brown, Van Gogh. Indigo, Van Gogh. Indigo, Van Gogh twice. Maybe not. I might have labeled that one wrong because they don't look the same. I think one's Daniel Smith. This is Prussian blue, Daniel Smith. Such a pretty deep dark blue. Then we have a ultramarine, which is very dry. It still works. Ultramarine Daniel Smith. And it's actually twice here, so we'll just extend that. Oops. And this is a ultramarine deep Van Gogh. And then I have two cerulean blues by Winsor Newton here. Both of these are the same. And there you have it. All right, so here we have it, an up close of all the paints swatched in my new consolidated watercolor paint box. And I don't know, I'd love to know what you think about these colors right now. I feel like I have a lot of browns, yellowish browns. I definitely have some blues, a bit of reds. What's missing? Or is anything missing? Maybe I just need to mix these colors more and go ahead with that and play with them. Yeah, what a weird palette. So I'll repeat the colors here just so you know what I have. I have Chinese white Van Gogh, lemon yellow Holbein watercolor, Azel yellow light Van Gogh for these two, New Gamboge Daniel Smith, yellow ochre in the Holbein watercolor, Quin gold in the Holbein watercolor, raw umber in the Holbein watercolor, raw sienna 2 times in Van Gogh, raw umber in Holbein watercolor, and burnt umber in Holbein watercolor. Permanent red deep Van Gogh, madder lake light Van Gogh, light oxide red for these two in Van Gogh, Quin gold, I'm not sure, I think it's Van Gogh, and then there's burnt sienna Daniel Smith, burnt sienna Daniel Smith twice, phthalo green Van Gogh. And then over here, these two are turquoise blue by Holbein watercolor, lavender by Daniel Smith, Quin rose by Daniel Smith, Quin rose by Van Gogh, permanent red deep, again I have it here twice, Pyro Scarlet in Daniel Smith, Cadmium Red Deep in Holbein Watercolor, Leaf Green in Holbein Watercolor, Green Olive Green in Van Gogh, Ivory Black in Van Gogh, Viridian in Van Gogh. Over here I have two purples that are Permanent Blue Violet in Van Gogh, Manganese Blue in Daniel Smith, Cobalt Blue Ultra in Van Gogh, Permanent Yellow Green in Van Gogh, Hooker Green in Van Gogh, Sap Green in Holbein Watercolor, Cerulean Blue in Winsor Newton, Ultramarine Deep in Van Gogh, Ultramarine Blue in Daniel Smith for these two, Prussian Blue in Van Gogh, Indigo, I think this was Daniel Smith, Indigo in Van Gogh, and Van Dyke Brown in Van Gogh. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.